American Heritage Month, and June being LGBTQ plus month, we thought, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw the flag in your bio, so I just assumed that you
Hmm.
were queer of some sort. And again, correct my use of your pronouns later if that's also wrong. But I was like, why not bring the both together? Because I was like, well, it's like I said, Asian American History Month in May, Asian American, AAPI month now. There's lots of other letters. But overall, we were like, why not bring the two together? And I thought we could even I kind of want to dive into the cultural aspect of it because I think it's very cool. But enough of me rambling about this author. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself in a second. You know me, I'm Shreya. My pronouns are she, her. And with me, I have today, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Anna. Pronouns are she, her. I live in South India, which is so far away from where Shreya is right now, but still very cool.
Yeah. So we're going to go into a little bit of a tea time. Off to the side, I'm going to try and do it without dropping it. I've got coffee because it is, keep in mind, for me, it is about 9 a.m. in the morning and I just woke up and I'm just like, I'm so tired, but I need my coffee. And it's in my little Spy Family mug because my
Love
boyfriend got
it.
it for me and I love it. So I was like, okay, we're just going to do, um, it's easy, it's small. I was like, we'll just do that. So, as to my highs and lows of the week, I don't know that I have any at the moment. Um, Other than the fact that I started Rebound a couple weeks ago and I love it. But like life wise, I am moving. I don't know if the
Ooh,
audience knows that, but I am moving. I am actually based in South Carolina, but I'm moving back up to Michigan for a job opportunity. So yesterday, my mom and we sat down, we booked a moving company, or I told them that I told my mom that I was gonna, book this moving company, and she was like, "No, you don't have the money right now. Let us book it, and you can pay us back." I said, "Okay, that's fine." So that's kind of my high for the week. Low, I mean, it's Monday. I don't know, or at least it's Monday morning for me. I don't know what the lows are gonna be. We'll see. But like I said, I've got this really cool opportunity to teach in the north, which is where I want to be. I told my best friends because it was her grad part, it was her sister's grad party on Saturday, so they
hmm.
know and they were super excited for me, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, overall, that's my tea time.
Well,
um
congratulations on your high, because that's amazing.
yeah. But what about you? What are some what are you, if you're
Well,
drinking anything?
I'm drinking water. It's 6:30 here, so it's not too late, but it's definitely too late for coffee, which I don't drink, but it's too late for that.
Okay.
What are my highs? Well, I'm 40K words into the next book in the Lovely series.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I know I'm really having a good time writing this. So that's my high. My low is that I am on pins and needles, very stressed about it actually, waiting to hear back
No.
from the Italian consulate about visas because we're supposed to go on a family holiday next month and they still haven't approved our visas. And I'm just like sweating up thinking about it.
Oh no. I have actually a really fun travel story. Speaking of which, um, and I promise, guys, we'll get into the meat of the episode in a second. I just want to get this travel story out. So years ago, when my grandfather was still alive, this is the last time I saw him before he died. Um, my mom always wanted to go to Dubai via, like, when we went, she was like, next time we go, we're going to Dubai. We said, okay. So we booked the trip. Everything was fine. We flew out from Atlanta. So for all of you like US people, you know where Georgia is. We were flying out of Atlanta because that was the ticket counter, and they're trying to pull up the manifest. She's not on the manifest to go
Oh
to
no.
Dubai. And I'm just like, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, I'm looking for other flights. And dad's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm looking for other flights in case we miss this one. It's like, we're not going to miss this one. They were supposed to check her green card in Atlanta. They didn't because we were going to miss our flight. So in Paris, the Paris ticketing counter is calling the Dubai consulate and going, hey, I have a passenger that is quite literally waiting for her boarding pass, but is not on the manifest for me and her.
Oh,
And my dad was so chill about it. He's like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, what are you talking about?
my
And
dad's also like that. He's just like calm. And I'm like, can you please freak out? Like, just.
for what's in your life. Okay.
Oh.
So let's just jump right into it. So I guess my
Mhm.
first question is, what made you become an author? Because you don't see many people, especially South Indian queer people in general, be authors. So what was that catalyst of being an author?
I've always enjoyed writing. I think it just stems from the fact that writing is one of those things that I've been good at. Well, I tell myself I've been good at it. We'll all just believe that I've been very good at it for my whole life. But reading, I think it's like any author will tell you, becoming an author starts with enjoying the process of reading. And I really loved, I think my mom will tell you that when I was 10 months old, I was just flipping through books. There's no idea if I mean, obviously, no idea what I'm reading, but I'm reading and I'm going through it. I'm looking at the pictures and I'm getting excited. So it all started with that 10-month-old Anna wanting to read and understand what's going on. But to become an author, I did my master's in creative writing. It was a whim.
Oh,
It was an absolute, it was just a thing that I said, you know what, let's try it. Because I wanted to be a journalist because I come from a family of journalists. But I realized that journalism requires you to talk to people, and I don't like people.
okay. So
I
my
can't do it.
my co-host is the same way, bro. I wish they were here because they'll tell you. They and I, both of us went to college together. That's how we
Hmm.
met. And they did a minor in creative writing. So they have lots of creative writing experience. And we met in a class. I mean, both of us have been in that education realm for years.
Hmm.
But I was in the College of Education. They were in the College of something. I think they did a minor in creative writing. Um, and so we took a class together. So we've always been consuming and writing ourselves because I had to write
Nice.
so many papers in college, and so did they. But like they'll tell you, it was the same thing for them. They loved creative writing.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice because you get to live in this make-believe world and you get to sort of write about things that are important to you. And then a couple of years ago, I can't remember the book's name now, but I read a book and I thought, well, I don't seem to see myself in any of these stories, especially in romance novels. I
Mm-hmm.
don't get to see a South Indian fat queer woman falling in love, whoever she's falling in love with, it doesn't matter. But I don't get to see brown people from where I come from. And especially since most Indian authors who are writing romance novels are all writing about North Indian families because that's where they come from. And I was just
Yeah.
like, why? I don't speak a lick of Hindi. I understand. I don't speak the language. So why am I reading these books about characters that I don't know? But why can't I write
Connect
one of
with.
my own? Like, I don't know if you've read Sandhya Menon. Sandhya Menon?
I
Is that her?
have. She's another one of my favorites,
Yeah.
but
And
I've
she wrote,
noticed that like all of her books are North Indian. I was like, as
there's
much as I
one, there's one
there
in that
is,
series, there's one in that series where she is South Indian. And I'm not sure if she's Malayali or if she's Tamilian, but she is South Indian. And I was so excited because she's fat as well. And I was just like, oh my
oh
God,
my
it has
god,
happened.
yay!
But I was just like, but it's young adult. But you know what? It's okay. It's young adult. At least it exists.
It
That's a
exists.
way
It's
to
there.
get.
Yeah.
And there's so much. I mean, okay, if I was writing fantasy, there is so much cultural stuff to dig into with
Yeah.
South
Oh
Indian
yeah.
culture
100%.
that I think would be, I mean, Tamil, for example, is like one of the oldest languages in the world.
Oh
That
what?
is a
Yep.
great story to tell, but we're not going to dive into fantasy yet. But yeah, that's how I got my start. I wanted to write stories about people who look like me, who lived like me, who loved like me. And I was just like, no one else is going to do it. So why don't I try? And shockingly enough, I had published my first book and I was just like, oh, okay, this is fun. But I was
It
so nervous about it, but I'm just like, forget it. It's fine.
so that actually segues really nicely into my next question, which is a two-parter.
Mhm.
Being South Indian, being queer, and writing about sex. Like it's a weird thing to say out loud because oh my god,
I know.
like
I
it's
know.
never been done. Okay, so culturally, let's kind of put this in perspective for the people out there that may not know South Indian culture. I mean, you and I can talk back and forth about it, but I got to put it in context for these guys. So, we come from a culture, both me and Anna come from a culture where sex is not talked about until the day before your wedding. And they're like, so here's what you do. And it's so awkward. I only know this because I have friends that have gotten married and they would literally tell me about the talk that they had with their
Oh
parents
God.
and their mother. I'm just like, it's not okay. Like, actively, I'm not going to say actively preaching abstinence because, if you don't want to have sex, that's your thing. And I'm not going to say that's wrong, but we come from a culture where it's very taboo almost to talk about sex out loud. Like if you go, especially, I mean, in Rebound, right? I mean, think about Tamara. She's not married. She's had this one night stand with Patrick and is like, oh my God, I'm pregnant and I haven't told anybody. And then she goes and tells Patrick and he's like, I'm excited, but I'm not excited because of stuff and things. But like, imagine her telling Veriama or Tamarama or someone that she's pregnant and their face just goes, oh my God, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
You've had sex. This is weird. Right? Like,
Yeah.
how I'm not going to ask how you broke the news to your parents, but like, how did you break the news to everybody else that you were writing smut and you were writing about sex?
And I'm so fortunate because when I published my debut, I didn't tell anybody. Like I didn't tell my family. My friends knew, but I didn't tell like my parents knew, but I didn't tell them anything beyond the fact that I was publishing this book. But my parents were so excited for me. They kept telling me, okay, you have to tell your family, you have to tell your family. And my mom is one of five sisters. My dad is one of
Ooh.
three siblings. And my parents were like, we can't keep the secret because both my parents have weekly siblings calls with their respective
Yeah,
siblings. And my dad's like, every time they ask about you, I'm so tempted to tell them that you write romance. And I'm just like, no. So then
please don't tell them.
finally, but you will not believe how incredibly accepting my family has been about this. When I told them, they were just like, how much sex is there? And then, do you understand Malayalam? Like if I say
Yes, I
something and
do very, very, very
they
much.
said, Eru ondo. And I said, yes, which by the way for translation means is there spice, because eru means spice in Malayalam, and which is literal translation is like is there spice, and I was just like
Uh,
yeah. And these are not my immediate aunts, these are like my mom's first cousins wives or my mom's
yeah, so
first
they're
cousins,
like, they're older, right?
and they're so excited. So at this wedding they find out and they're all just like, we're going to order your books, and I'm like, please don't.
Okay.
And then they were like, no, no, we must support. I said, okay, fine, order the books, but don't tell me that you read them. And then 6 months later, I see them at another wedding. They've all read the books. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't
It's
handle this. But
there's gotta be some semblance of like secondhand embarrassment of like a oh hey, my family is reading my book, what do I do? You've frozen up, hold on. No.
don't say that to me. And I know all your husbands. This is so uncomfortable.
But then
So,
like you look at like families like that and you realize how accepting that they've been
mm,
and that they I think society has kind of changed around that and we see more people accepting and even I mean even the queer factor, right? The queer culture
yep.
factor. Like you can't go up to a foreign born or a foreign parent of any culture and go, so I like girls or I like both girls and guys. Like you can't do that. Like they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. And
Yeah.
so, like, I've always, I guess, I'm not queer at the moment, but I've always like fantasized about like telling like my umachi or even like my umachi and apacha on my mom's side because my both of them are still alive. My apacha on my dad's side's gone now, but like just going up to them and telling them, "Oh, here's my girlfriend." Like no one does. This is so stupid to laugh at, but no one does that. And
Yeah. I
so
think if my grandparents were still alive and I told them that I was writing romance novels with sex in it, I think they would have probably like one been confused because what?
wait, huh?
Then I would have had to say, no, I'm writing Mills and Boons, which by the way, for them was just like so taboo. But I'm so glad. I mean, all my grandparents that I met, they're all gone now. But I'm kind of glad that they're not here to witness this because I would have been
Yeah.
so embarrassed. And I know it's people will be like, oh, why are you embarrassed? And I'm like, I don't think like we were talking about, our culture is so different from, say, a Western culture where these things are slightly more accepting. Like your grandparents will tease you about it. My grandparents would probably shit a brick.
They'd be like, "Oh my god!" But then like,
Exactly.
like this is gonna sound so crass, but like all these like South Indian families that like I have a friend, like a family friend of ours. They used to be a neighbor of ours that
Hmm.
has three kids, and I'm just like thinking about it. I'm like, so you've had sex how many times? Like it's so weird to think. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but like you don't hear like I have so many American friends. I mean, even my host can tell you, we've had conversations around sex all the time.
Yep.
I can't freaking go to my sister or my parents or anyone else and have those type of conversations. And it's different culturally of like a, oh hey, so that typical best friend call in the American TV shows of like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I slept with him last night. Yeah, can't do that. But I have friends now that I can do that with, like if and ever if I ever have sex because I'm still virgin, but it's fine. But like if I ever have that, like I can always there's like two or three people that I can call and be like, oh my god, I had sex last night. But I can't like obviously go call my mom. Oh my god, I slept with someone last night. You're not married. What are you doing? Oh my god.
But I will admit though, I think that I mean now I'm 42 and my relationship with my parents is very different. I maybe in the last 20, I think since I came out to them when I was 21, and since then my conversations with them have been extremely positive in terms of we talk about, we talk about queerness, we talk about all the things that they could not talk to their parents about. And I think it also helps that my parents are extremely open-minded. And again, I would say this is a very rare situation because I'm extremely blessed and fortunate.
Yeah.
And if you read the Love League series, Vera's parents are modeled on mine. Like her mom and
And
her dad are
and
my
I love
parents.
that. And we'll get
They,
to your
yeah. So
characters
I
in a
think
second.
I wanted to show that yes, South Indian culture, we're all very repressed. I mean, it's just the way we're raised. But there are unicorns like my parents. My dad gets really uncomfortable about it, but he will have the conversation with me if I say, look, Appa, we need to talk about it. He will sit down, he will cringe his way through it, but he will have the conversation with me. My brother and I, we have a 4 year age difference, and we talk about everything. Like we talk about we're both queer. We both talk about sex very openly. Sometimes we do it in public, which is probably not a good thing to do because we get really loud, but we do it. And I think it comes with time and just being and having the conversation. And that's why it's easy for me to write these books and not be like, no, now when one of my family members says, oh, I read your book, I'm not embarrassed about them reading the sex. And I'm like, good, great
Yeah.
because I finally accepted that this is who I am. This is the stuff that I write. It's taken me a long time to get comfortable with this, but this is my job. So why would I shy away from talking about it? So
Yeah.
even if people can't have these conversations with their families, I think it's time that you have to sort of ease both sides
Yep.
into it. And I think once you get to that point, then there's no turning back. Then your parents are
Yeah.
extremely inquisitive about your sex life, and you're just like, stop, please. That's not.
Yeah. Um actually, then let's jump right into the Love League series, right?
Oh, okay.
Let's jump into now. Keep in mind, I'm about halfway through Rebound right now. I've only read Stumped all the way through. And let me
Hmm.
tell you, Vera is me to an absolute T. Like, seeing someone, and this was back when you were on a break, and I thought I was conversing with you. You'll see it in my review when I'm actually when I actually posted after this interview. I thought I was talking to you. um Come to find out, I basically embarrassed myself to, I want to say she's your PA,
Oh, she's my best
Jesse.
friend slash PA. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse. And I'm just like, okay, yup, that was embarrassing. That's
I
fine, but
promise,
it was
I
embarrassing.
promise you, you did not embarrass yourself because when Jessie and I met, it was in a very similar situation. She was gushing about one of my books, and her DMs were just my DMs were just flooded with messages from her, and I was just like, okay, okay. So don't worry, you did not embarrass yourself. She's probably just like, oh my God, someone else like me. That's fine.
I know. And so, like, it was very refreshing
Mhm.
seeing Vera. It basically, I was like, oh my God, it's a clone of me. Like, she was who I, or like, she was like that older sister, because I said, like, I'm one of two. I'm basically a role model for my younger sister. My younger sister,
Mhm.
we're 5.5 years apart. She'll be 21 in September. Or sorry, 20 in September. Um, and so it was like, you are the older sister that I've always wanted in life. Confident, super super hot. Oh my God, I saw the art and I was like, holy shit, she
Yep.
looks good. And I was just like, dude, how like how did you write Vera to be so confident? Because like, if it, I mean, I'm not a writer. I wouldn't say I'm a writer of any kind yet. But like, if I were trying to write Vera the way that you wrote Vera, I would not be able to achieve that. And so it's the fact that like Varun basically buckles to his knees within 5% of the book and says, "I want to eat you." I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think for me, like, if you ever do read my debut series, Oleander in my debut, she's also South Indian, but she's South Indian, like she's born and raised in the States. That whole series is set in a small town in the States, in the strangest state on the planet. I've just picked Delaware for reasons that nobody will understand ever, including myself, but that's fine. Anyway, but I think if you read Oleander's book and you read Vera's book, you will see a lot of similarities in that. Um, I'm not a confident person. I present very confident. Like I'm always just like, oh, I'm on my shit, but I'm not. I'm just like,
I'm the same way.
yeah. So the key for me is writing characters that I aspire to be, or people like the inner version of Anna is what I put on the page. Um, I write about women that I would see in public, and I'd be like, oh, damn, I like her. I like the way she moves. I like what she's wearing. I like how she carries herself. And oh my God, she's so beautiful. I people watch a lot. This is one of my favorite things to do. I do it on the train. I do it when I'm sitting at the mall, when I go for movies, which I do by myself because I like people watching. I don't want anyone interrupting me. And I like doing all these things. And I learn so much about other people. And that kind of gives me ideas for the books and for these characters. So writing Vera as a confident woman was important to me because one, I wanted to show that South Indian women can be badass. They can own their companies. They can be millionaires. They can be all these amazing things, but they can also be soft if they want to. They choose when they want to show their bellies. And I feel like women are given such a like tough, confident women are given such a bad name because they're
Yeah.
considered unlikable and they're considered crass and hard to whatever this. And I'm just like, okay, fine, that's your problem. It's not mine. I'm gonna write about these women
Yeah.
because I think if I looked at it from yes, on some level I am confident because I now in my 40s don't care what other people think about me. Like I just genuinely don't give a shit. Sorry, do not mean to swear.
No,
But
you're
I
fine. We swear on this podcast all the time, so it's
Okay,
okay.
great. So I think writing about women who don't give a hoot about anything or anybody else's opinions is so important because I want my readers to say, oh, hey, if she can do it, why can't I do it? Because as I'm writing these things, I'm going, if Vera can do it, so can I. Like even with Tamara in Rebound, I'm just like, why does she have to be this docile, quiet
She's
mouse
not.
of a woman? Yeah,
She's
she's
not. For those
every
of you
time,
that, yeah,
yeah,
like I'm not even like, I don't know. I have Rebound next to me, actually. What am I doing? Let me give
she's
you the actual percentage I'm at.
yes, Tamara gets, she's like, I think Patrick, every time Patrick banters, she gives it back to him tenfold. Like, she's not going to hold back, especially with him. Like, she's zero filter when it comes to this man. And I think writing about women like that is so refreshing. For me, reading
Yeah.
about them is also so fun for me.
I'm
And
at
also,
33%, so I'm not very far into it. I'm probably gonna read a little bit more today, but
yeah, but
I
they're so fun. Like, it's writing about these women is fun.
you're and I think you make a good point because even talking about Tamara, she's very like that spitfire personality back and forth. For God's sake, she designs sex rooms for a living, which I think is absolutely fucking cool. Um, we're not gonna talk about
I
it, but I
agree.
think that's absolutely. I read the blurb at the beginning because I you put it at the beginning of
Mm-hmm. The
the
ebook,
book,
yeah.
the ebook, and I was like, oh my god, she designed sex rooms. I'm gonna die, but I love it. Um, and the
And sex
fact
rooms in India, I feel like that is the key here.
that is
Like,
like
what?
the weirdest combination I've ever
Yeah,
had in my
I love
entire
it.
life.
I love
But
it.
like even that, like the intersectionality of it all. She first off, she designed sex rooms. She's a Malayali. She's pregnant. Like all three of those things put together is the most. I don't want to say taboo now because it's probably not taboo now, like obviously, but like it's not talked about enough. And so I think it's very important. And the fact, and keep in mind, the fact that we are cousins, not we, but like that they are cousins is absolutely insane to me. Like the fact that Vera's mother automatically took her in shows you truly like the idea of family. Like we listen, I'll talk shit about my family all the time. Don't get me wrong. Like I love them, I adore them, but at the end of the day, like it's the fact that the loyalty that family has in our culture is very like you can see that in these books. Like you can see the fact that they can go up to their parents and tell them
Yep.
anything. And I think I haven't gotten to Varun's book yet, actually. And I know
You, uh,
you're laughing. Well,
uh,
the reason I'm saying that is I haven't seen enough of Varun, and I actually was scrolling your page yesterday to prep for this interview. And I was telling my host Rose that you are writing Varun and you're showing us bits and pieces of Varun and that he is pansexual. And they were like, oh my God, he is. I was like, yeah, he is. I didn't even know that until I saw the
well,
post. I was like,
Varun is bisexual. Vikram is pansexual. Yes, sorry.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Vikram's the younger brother. Yeah.
it's fine. I'll get him eventually. But regardless, like it was so refreshing to them to know that, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't know that until very recently." And I'm
Yeah.
like thinking about all the scenes that he's a part of in Stumped, and I'm like, "Wait, that makes so much sense."
I mean, Vikram is probably the most fun male character I've ever written. He's my best. Jesse and I coin him as chaotic sunshine because he's absolutely unhinged. He was so much fun to write, and I cannot wait for people to meet him because this man has like zero filter, and he's just, I mean, oh, he's amazing. And I think Vikram, while Varun is still my favorite hero from the series so far, Vikram is the most fun. And I think that if everyone's looking for a fun, because I can't write grumpy men. Like I just genuinely cannot write grumpy men. I would write sunshine men and grumpy women because as a grumpy woman, I get it. But I can't write grumpy men because I find them sometimes to be, assholes. And men being assholes is like, ugh, gross, please stay
Ugh.
away. But Vikram is like the ultimate sunshine. He's golden retriever. He's chaotic sunshine. He's just like, I mean, unhinged is probably a good word.
I can't wait to
Um,
meet him now.
yeah. Like you meet him a little bit more in Rebound. You do meet him a lot more in Keeper because his best friend is Kaya, who ends up with who's the female lead in Keeper and is Varun's love interest and brother's best friend. Ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vikram, and what's really funny since we're talking about queer characters and having, so Elias from Stumped is my token straight man. He's the only straight person in this entire series. And when I posted the first introduction to all these characters, someone commented and said, "Oh my God, he's a token straight guy." And I was like, "Oh yeah." So all my future posts, I refer to Elias as token straight
The
guy.
straight man. Yeah. Elias
He's just
is
his.
just Elias has that golden retriever energy too that
He
I'm just like
is. I love
I
him.
literally just want to like hold him and I'm like I love you. You're
Yeah.
adorable.
He's my sweetest character. Like he's just
He's
genuinely a good
so
person.
sweet.
He's
He's
so like
so
nice.
sweet. A lot
Yeah.
the fact okay, listen, I'm not and Rose will tell you if you ever meet them. Like I'm not a big fan of nicknames, but the
Mm.
minute that Elias calls Vera Peaches, I'm just like, wait. I like this. I
But
like
I
this.
should I should tell you, she didn't have a nickname for the first two drafts of the book. When I went to my beta readers, one of them said, she calls him superstar. He should give it'd be nice or cute if he gave her something. And it took me a really long time to find something that was because I'm very picky about nicknames.
Yeah.
The nicknames have to make sense. I just don't like
Uh-huh.
random, you can't just use random words. Like it has to connect to the character. So like with in Rebound, Patrick calls Tamara Lotus because in
Lotus
Malayalam,
is
Tamara
yep.
means lotus. And
Lotus, yep.
and she calls him Trick because that's like a
Because
shortened version of his name.
Patrick, yep.
But I was just like, he can't just randomly call her, whatever he wants because that does not fit who Vera is. It has to make sense and it has to annoy her enough that she says, "Do I like it?"
Okay. Do I like it? I do like it. It's
And
okay.
on and she only likes it because he says it. If someone else called her Peaches, she probably would be like, please don't. So it
Yeah.
has to like nicknames, and I'm very, very picky about nicknames. But yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
minute I
that's
read Peaches, this is gonna sound weird, but the minute I read Peaches, I thought of Ice Age. And,
oh yeah.
and he looks at his wife and goes,
Oh,
"Why don't we name her Peaches?" I'm like, "Why would you name her
that is
Peaches? What?"
that is all I'm gonna see now. I'm just gonna see baby mammoth in my head every time I think of Peaches. Oh,
Peaches. But I mean,
cute name
overall,
though.
yeah, overall, I really enjoy. I mean, out of the what like four people, like main people I've met so far, I'm really enjoying these characters and like seeing. It almost feels like I'm back in my Amichi's house. Like I'm back in Bangalore. I'm back. Like I listen. At the time, I didn't like the full flights. I didn't. I'm not gonna. It's from where I am. It's about 24 hours. It takes a whole ass day to get there.
They're
But
not
like,
fun.
it's not fun. But I will say, when my grandfather died last July. So it's going to be about a year now. Come this July. The one thing I was working at the time. I worked at a local summer camp in Florida because that's where my parents were. The one thing I regret is not going and seeing
Hmm.
Amici. And now, did I want to see Apacha, lying there almost mummified? No. But I wish I would have gone and seen Amici because now when I go back, if I ever go back, I'm not going to be able to see Apacha because that was, and I mean, like me and my sister are the only two grandchildren across the sea, across the ocean.
Hmm.
Every single one of their grandchildren on, I mean, mom and dad's side are all there, right? They're all
Right.
either in Bangalore, in they're there. They're right next to, like, my mom's brother's a pilot, so he's never in the thing. He's always in the air. He flies for Indigo. But regardless, all of that being said, I still remember like getting phone calls from Apache like on my birthday and on Christmas and on, New Year's and things like that. Even with the time difference, like Amici would call me and go, "Oh, hey, talk to Apache," and Dad would actively hand me the phone and go, "Hey, Apache wants to talk to you. Wish you happy birthday." Same with my sister, because like my sister would get those random phone calls every year and be like, "Oh, hey," or like Dad in the car would call Apacha and go, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?" But like now with him being gone, I don't know that my dad does that. I mean, I'm my dad's in Florida, I'm here in South Carolina, but like I don't know if he does that anymore. I don't know if, cuz he was very close with his dad. Last time we went and saw
Hmm.
him, he had just turned 85, and I actually I saw my dad's uncles. Like I met his brothers, and that was the
Nice.
first time I'd met them. I didn't know,
Yeah.
and I knew they existed obviously because Dad would tell me, I had uncles, I had whatever. So like, but seeing them in real life was really surreal. Like I didn't know who these people were. It was
Yeah.
very awkward to talk to them because they knew who I was, but I didn't know them. I didn't see enough of them, and so it was very awkward to talk to them. Obviously, I understood them and I could converse with them, but it was surreal to see his my dad's family that he grew up with and that he
Hmm.
adored, and then now, and I mean, my Apache's brothers loved him. Like they came over, and the fact that my dad basically like sat there and coordinated all of this, and then to see him gone is something that's really thing. And my point to all of this is, in Rebound, Patrick has anxiety and depression and all of that. I don't know why. I haven't gotten to that part, but I think it's super interesting to see, I mean, even him in me, and that idea of just sometimes I do get depressed. I'm not going to lie. I mean, y'all heard it here first. I do. I get depressed. Rose can tell you, I've called them on multiple occasions going, the little voice in my head won't shut up. Like
Yeah.
this is sad. This is not okay. And Rose will text me back like, just yesterday I was at work and I brought my Kindle with me. I was reading Caught Up by Liz Tomford, and I texted them. I was like, "Hey, I got cut early because it was dead slow at the restaurant." I was like, "I got cut early, but it didn't do anything for my little voice in my head because it was really hard to evict." I don't know if it was you that said that or someone else, but the minute that voice gets back in your head, it's really hard to let that go because it's that doubt and that, like, oh my God, what am I doing? And I mean, I talk to my boyfriend all the time. He's white, by the way. But like, I talk to my boyfriend all the time, and I talk to him about the anxiety and stuff. And he's like, well, yeah, that's going to be there. I have that too. Like, us moving in together, because when we got the apartment, we've been in a long distance relationship for about 4 years now.
Mm.
And so we said when I moved, we were friends. We didn't start dating until college, but we were best friends. And when I told him, I still remember his face. When I told him, I said, "Listen, I don't know if it's gonna happen yet." And he's like, "Oh shit. What are you gonna tell me?" Like I could see his face fall. I was like, I wanted to tell you first before I told anyone else because you've been with me since middle school. We've gone through a lot of shit together. Um, but this is what happened, and something super weird happened the week before. So I told him why I was out and all of that. And then I told him, so listen, Mom and Dad basically dropped this huge bomb on me that we're moving, that Dad's office is getting shut down, and they gave him the option, and we're moving to South Carolina. And his face just fell. Like I could see the shutdown happening in his brain and him going nonverbal. I was like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have told him. And then, you know, we went to our respective classes because the bell had rung, and he didn't bring it up until later. And then on the last day of school, I said, I'm going to miss you because I mean, we had confessed our feelings for each other, but you know, mom, you know me, and you know, like our culture, I could never tell mom that I liked this boy. Um, and so I was like, we can't date, you know, because of cultural differences and stuff. And then come COVID, I went to my cousin's wedding, right? I went to my
Mhm.
cousin's wedding in Michigan, actually. They're happily married now for about 4 or 5 years. Um, they're in North Dakota. He's got some plane. He's flying some plane. He's some aerospace engineer, something. But we went to their wedding and I saw how happy they were. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. So I texted him at the wedding. I this was during the reception, not the ceremony. But I texted him. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I know it's long distance. I know it's gonna be hard, but let's give it a shot because you know, COVID. If COVID's taught me anything, life is short, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how
Mhm.
mom and dad are going to take it. I'm not going to tell them right away, but I don't know how mom and dad are going to take it. But I'm just going to go for it. And we dated up until the summer of 24. Um then, you know, I went to dad. This was when I was still working at the summer camp and we got July 4th off. I literally like went to the front desk and we were in some big fight. I can't remember what it is now, but I wanted to see him for his birthday. I hadn't told mom and dad that we were like full blown dating. And so I went home because I was working morning shift. I went home and I told dad, I said, Dad, I want to go to Michigan for 4th of July. And in his brain, I think he knew why. It's like, have you seen the ticket prices for 4th of July? You should have come and told us earlier. We would have figured something out. I said, I didn't know this was happening. I was like freaking out. And then that night, actually, I still remember that night was the night we broke up. We were like, no, we're done. I was upset and I still remember like crying on my dad's lap. And he's like, if it's meant to be, he'll come back. And I said, well, you don't know that. He said, yeah, I do, actually. Mom and I were in a love marriage, not an arranged marriage. I looked at him and I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I chased your mother because I wanted her and I made it work. I said, what the fuck? And that was
Yeah.
the first time he had opened up to me. And I was like, oh my God. But like, even that circling back to the whole idea of this, he's like, the anxiety and the depression is going to be there. That's not going away because and we know, and I told him, I was like, my grandfather whatever, and he knows that he's lost both of his grandparents, both sides of his grandfathers, mom and dad. And so he's like, but you can't keep that bottled up. And I said, yeah, maybe when I get insurance again and I find a therapist, I'm going to go back to therapy because I've learned a lot about
Mhm.
myself in therapy. And I think that's kind of why Patrick resonates with me because he literally goes to therapy, but he's like avoiding it against all costs. Again, I don't know why because I haven't gotten that far into it, but he's like literally avoiding it. And I'm just like, but you need to talk about it. Like, I get it. You're upset, you're annoyed, you're uh, anxious, all the things, but like, you need to talk about it. You need to go to
Well,
your therapist and talk about
no,
it.
not a spoiler, but he does go back. I mean, he does speak. There's more therapy on page. I like writing therapy on page. I feel like therapy on page is
I love that too.
incredibly therapeutic for me because I stopped going to therapy a couple of years ago only because the therapist that I was going to hiked up her prices to the point where I was just like, you want to bankrupt me because I can't afford this. And I was just like, no. So all of the stuff that Patrick is going through is basically stuff that I've gone through. I'm just like, I need to talk to someone about this, but I'm going to deal with this by myself. I'm going to just live in my depression and I'm just going to live in my anxiety and my panic. And then one day it'll all just go away. And it does. It's just you suffer for those days that you
Yeah.
don't deal with it. But yeah, so don't worry. I like writing men who will go to therapy. I will never
I
write a guy
love that
who
though.
won't go to therapy. If he's struggling, he will go to therapy. Like that is because I have read so many books where the men need so much therapy. but they consider therapy like some kind of crime or like an insult. And I'm just like, how is it that we in the 21st century we're thinking of therapy as a bad thing? Especially for
Yeah.
men. Men need therapy. I mean,
And
human,
that's just a thing. That's a statement. That's not
yeah,
even a
it's
question.
not a bad thing. Human beings, on the whole, we all, every single one of us needs therapy because it helps us get all of this intrusive thoughts and ugly feelings out. Someone else carries it for us. So therapy is great. And I think when someone writes a hero that's so anti-therapy, it really puts, like I've DNF'd books because of that. That is like a big DNF thing for me. Like if you say, oh, therapy is like gross and only idiots do it, I'm just like, yes, only idiots do it because you're obviously not an idiot. You're a fool.
Well, no, the same thing happened. So, like I said, I'm an educator. Like I was an educator, and I will be an educator again. It's the same thing with tutoring. Like I tutored kids, and I like even call like I did this in college as like a college job, and I
Mm-hmm.
basically told these kids, I was like, if you need help, please, for the love of everything good in life, go to your professor. It's okay. They are there to help you. And they're like, but it makes me, I'm like, I don't care if it makes you feel dumb. You're
I
going
think
to
these
your
are
professor.
these are probably kids that are raised by millennial parents. And as a millennial, I will tell you, sometimes asking for help is like pulling teeth. Like we don't like doing it.
We
We
don't.
know we have to do it, but we don't like it. And millennial parents sometimes raise their kids that way. So I feel like our parents raised us that way, and now we're raising our
Yeah,
kids, which
you're
is
around
just
my parents are a little older than you, so they raised two beautiful girls. It's the same way for us. Like
yeah.
at
So
least
it's
me,
just
I don't know about my sister as much anymore, but like at least me, I freaking I don't like asking for help. I think I can do everything by myself. My dad affectionately likes to call it my way or the highway because it's literally that. Like I
it makes
don't
me
like
so
asking for help.
it makes me so uncomfortable to ask for help. Like even asking my parents for help, sometimes I'm just like, I have to replay, like I have to write a script in my head, and I'm like, maybe I'll change this word. No, maybe I'll ask for this
Yeah,
instead. And then by the time I get on, my dad's just like, you could have just said you wanted it, I would have given it to you. And I'm like, I know you would say yes, but it's the asking that's the problem. It's not the answer.
exactly. It's not the answer. The answer is obviously going to be like, I mean, even like the fact that like my mom basically jumped and said, "We'll pay for the moving truck." I'm like, "But you don't know. You don't
Yeah.
need to do that." And but
No.
they know I don't have the money to for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moving truck. Like I'm sitting here panicking. Like you can ask my boyfriend, you can ask Rose. I'm sitting here quite literally panicking about how I'm going to pay $2,500 for this moving truck to come
Yeah.
move all my crap. And then they're like, oh, we'll put it on the credit card. I'm like, but you don't have to do that. Stop. They're like, you got to pay us back though. I'm like, okay, I can pay you back. Like, that's not the issue. The issue is you are jumping at the bit to put this on a credit card that you don't need to do.
But when your parents offer, I think the key is to just say, okay. Because
Okay.
recently my dad said, okay, because my phone is like just giving up the ghost right now. And I'm being so stubborn about buying a new one because they're really expensive.
They are.
And my dad's like, okay, I'll pay half of it. I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, he just offered. And I'm like, back up. He's like, and my mom's like, just take the deal. And I'm like, but why? Like, I need to understand what is going on. Like, and he's just like, I will pay half. And I'm like, but why? Like we don't understand. I feel like our parents raised us to question everything. And now when they offer us
Exactly.
stuff, they're just like, stop asking questions, just take it. And I'm like, oh, this is so stressful. I can't handle it. But yeah, so I get it. I get where your parents are coming from. I also get where you're coming from. It's just like, just no.
Yeah. But other than that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. It was such a dream to talk to you. I
Oh,
really
I'm so
enjoyed it.
excited. I'm so glad
Um,
we got to talk.
I promise I actually have the review for Stumped on my phone. I have to edit it and make sure it like looks semi-polished and I don't look like a blubbering idiot, but it'll probably go up today.
Okay.
Um again, y'all, we no, well, me, I took it solo today cuz Rose was not feeling well, but I have been talking to Anna. I've really enjoyed talking to you, but here on the Dearest Reader podcast, we do kind of a wrap up. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're reading anything, I'm reading like 12,000 books at a time because mood reader problems. But
Mm-hmm.
I right now have two in front of me that I will share. So I kind of just go, we do like a last now next wrap up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
What do we finish reading? What are we reading now? And what are we planning to read? The planning to read may or may not change. I don't usually put anything in there. Um, and then we kind of talk about our week, like what are we looking forward to, what are we, what's happening during the week. So
Yep.
I'll go first to just kind of give you an example. So I have been doing better about showing my books, so I actually have Rebound on my Kindle. I'm going to read it after that's what I'm currently reading. What I finished
Yay.
reading was Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And then I know I finished something else. Oh, and then I finished Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas a couple days ago, which was an absolute roller coaster of emotions. So
Completely.
I'm reading Rebound by you, obviously. And then I'm
Yay.
also reading The Good Girl Effect by Sarah Kate. So I have smut upon smut in front of me. What am I reading next? I have no idea. We'll find out eventually, maybe next week. Um, but those are the two that I'm reading right now. What am I looking forward to? Just making money, I guess. I am been in this constant state of panic for the past month and a half now of how am I
Mm-hmm.
going to make $500 to pay the rest of my rent for this month and make the remaining balance for next month because next month is
Yep.
my last month here. I'm just like, how am I going to do that? I need more hours. And on top of that, my boss isn't giving me more hours because it's so dead at the restaurant. They can't justify labor costs. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, fine, whatever. I'll just take what I'm given, I guess, and take the money I'm given. Um, but overall, I think that's practically it for right now. I'm in the state of packing up my bookshelf, so like it looks kind of empty right now, but like I have like 3 or 4 boxes of books plus the one I've sent out to my friend to keep in her basement because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I don't want to send. I'll send books that way. I don't want to spend more money moving it. I would rather just send it ahead of time. So I sent
Yep.
her one box. I may send her another. We'll see. But that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. So, do you want to give your wrap up as well?
Sure. What am I reading? I'm reading I'm into my crime thrillers thing. I haven't read a single romance novel since August of 2025. Like
That's fine.
my brain just cannot. Like I pick up a book and I'm just like, mm-mm, cannot. Like I don't know what it is. Anyway, but I'm reading a crime thriller. I cannot remember the name of the book or the author. But a crime thriller now, probably a crime thriller after that.
After that, yeah.
Yeah, just I just have like a series. What did I read? Oh, I read The Witchcraft of Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix.
Oh, is that
That
good?
was the one.
I've heard that one's like really, really like I read oh, is it no, it's not September House. It's how to sell a haunted house by him. And I really, really
Okay.
like it was creepy, but I really liked that one.
Okay. So they
It
said this one was going to be creepy. I didn't feel
it that
creepy at all.
I think that one's got like witchy
Yeah.
vibes and like
This also has witches
pregnancy
and
and
this
things like
also has
that.
preg yeah,
Yeah.
this one's like it's a like a halfway home for pregnant girls
Yeah.
and they dabble in witchcraft and they said, oh, it's haunting. And I'm just like halfway through the book I kind of got bored. I was like, okay, is it over
So,
yet?
fun fact, when I read How to Sell a Haunted House, I was telling Rose, like I was telling them the synopsis of it. If you
Hmm.
liked Witchcraft of Wayward Girls by Grady, I think you'll really like How to Sell a Haunted. It was creepy to me because I'm not much of a mystery thriller
Okay.
person, but like the house itself was haunted. And
Okay.
so it like the way that Grady writes his stuff, I think is very like it's it's very descriptive, so it almost feels like you're there, which is why I was like, oh, I had to like set the book down for a couple days and be like, okay, now I'm gonna pick it back up. I'm not so creeped out anymore. And then I'd read another chapter and be like, nope, I'm gonna set it down again because I
But
couldn't binge through the entire thing.
oh yeah. I
Like
think but if
it
you
was
like if people like creepy books, I think Mexican Gothic is probably a good example of
Yep.
like I
It's like
felt
gothic horror, so it's
and I
really
felt
cool.
it inside my chest. Like I was just like, ah. And I love books that have that visceral feeling. So this one was really good. But I feel like this Wayward Witchcraft of Wayward Girls, it was okay. Like I'm not like raving about it.
Yeah.
And what am I looking forward to this week? Well, if everything goes really well, I'm going to Bangalore at the end of the week. Very exciting. I'm going to
Okay.
see my cousin and my godson and a new baby and just see my whole because a lot of my mom's family is in Bangalore, so it's like a week-long trip that I'm doing. I try to do a week-long trip to Bangalore every year, one or two a year,
I love
because
that.
I like
Yeah.
just going spending time with my cousins. Which is also why Vera and Tamara are so close, because I'm so close to my cousins, and that's
Cousins. Yeah, I love that though.
the whole
It's
vibe of it. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this week. Also, just hoping that I get to sleep some more.
do we have any new news about the rest of the Love League series?
Well, Caught, which is Vikram's book, is with my
Yeah.
editor. Rally, which is
Yes.
the technically the last book in the series, which is my first ever sapphic, is what I'm working on
Oh,
right
I'm
now,
excited. I'm
which is what I'm
excited.
40K into. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep writing that this week and we'll see how it goes. This is only the first
Okay.
draft. I have no idea how long this book is gonna be. I have no idea what is gonna stay, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
I'm excited. I'm really, really
Yay.
excited. I'm excited to read Caught now that I know that it's with your editor. I'm just like, ooh,
God,
anticipation.
that book put me through so much because writing single moms with their ex-husbands existing in the picture is just so stressful.
I mean, yeah, yeah, no,
Especially
can,
when the ex-husband is like an asshole. Like he's the
yeah,
villain in
I
the
can imagine
story.
that I can
Ah,
imagine.
yeah. Like
But
you will want to kill him, but
yeah.
that's the
Oh,
best
I'm
part of
so
it. So yeah.
excited because I'm ready to murder some people.
You will want to murder someone in Rebound. So
Oh, okay.
you're gonna get that, which is fun because he was my first villain. And like if you ask Jessie, she will tell you how much she hates hates him. So yeah.
All right. Well, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to
Thank
talk
you.
with us. It was really fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved
Me
talking
too.
culture and the different types of just, I guess, taboo topics or more crass
Mm-hmm.
topics that we don't really get to talk about in South Indian
Yep.
culture. And so it's
Yep.
really cool. But I will most likely be flooding your DMs here in a minute of all of the things, Tamara and Patrick.
I'm excited. Bring it on.
But yeah, and it's like I said, it was a dream to for you to say yes. I like
Oh, thank you.
when I realized I was like talking to Jesse and I like mentioned to Jesse, I was like, I know she's still on a break, but like just pass along the fact that she's, in that like almost one of her favorite readers or whatever is on a podcast and is 100% willing to interview her. She's like, oh yeah, I'll pass it along. And then when you came back to me and said yes, I was like, oh my god, I'm high key fangirling right now.
I was so excited, and Jessie told me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to get back!" Because yeah, I love when people enjoy my books enough that they want to talk to me or just want to talk to me because I love talking. I'm like a yapper, professional yapper, so I
All
enjoy it. So it's always
right.
fun. So thank you so much for inviting me.
I appreciate it. And I know that Rose will get a kick out of this as they're editing it. I know we did a little bit of translation, but Rose, if you need a little bit more translation, let me know. We didn't do too much, but
Yeah, we only said one Malayalam word really,
yeah,
so it's fine.
so it's okay.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm excited. I'll let you know
Yay!
when the podcast episode is out if you want to listen to the
Awesome,
finished version.
awesome.
And to all you lovely listeners out there, we appreciate you so much. Keep being, I can't do it the same way Rose does, but keep reading your books, keep staying weird, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.